Hi everyone, welcome. I just recorded a small video, but I didn't realize that on my phone it was only going to let me record for like 6 minutes, and well, I talk for a little bit longer than 6 minutes. But anyways, so I did get my son's phone, and I will try to not do it for longer than 30 minutes. So let's let's get busy. I hope everyone is doing well, and just like in my video earlier, just commented on the 1212 portal. So I'm just gonna cleanse the space a little bit. Probably been feeling some heavy energy and purging. Sorry, I'm trying to get my mind a little relaxed because I know that I've been purging a lot of emotion. The last couple of days have been difficult on me, where I feel like, is this coming from me? Is this somebody else? I know that I'm a light worker, so I do absorb other people's energy, and some of you all maybe you don't identify with that, but in being an empath, you might absorb energy as well. So there's a lot of purging going on, given where we're at in the cycle, and that the age of Aquarius is coming around the corner on the 21st. It's technically supposed to start, or at least that's what I've heard. So yeah, a lot of heavy energy. So I was thinking, or actually not me, but I've been encouraged to go ahead and post a video on talking about how people are coping with that, because again, it's bringing up a lot of deep-seated issues that maybe you are aware of, maybe you're not. Maybe they're intertwined with other things that you have long forgotten or thought you forgot. Or even if past life is something that you identify with or you resonate with, bringing up past life experiences that you're working to purge, to raise your vibration, the whole crystallization process of what's going on. So I would imagine there's a lot of stress, and particularly if you're at home with a bunch of people and the lockdown continues, it's hard to create that space for yourself, as well as maybe given just changes in your employment, your financial resources. There can be a lot of stress just involving that as well. So just remove what's going on in the universe. I would imagine that it can be particularly difficult just individually versus collectively, but we are collectively experiencing this, so you're not alone. But let's go ahead and open with the singing bowl. We'll kind of set the stage for Spirit to come in and chat, and see what they want to convey to all of us, as they are talking to me as well. So we'll do this together. All right. So beautiful. I love that. Actually, I went to the little shop that I get a lot of my incense and cards from. It's a great shop here in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. But they had this beautiful bowl that literally when I put in my hand, it like vibrated even before I started playing it. And I was like, oh, it's like Harry Potter's my wine. I'm trying not to drink wine. But it's like a wand or something. But then when I went back, I was maybe gonna get it because it was a little expensive. It was gone, but maybe it just wasn't for me, and there's even a better bowl out there. So anyways, I love singing bowls. I thank my children for getting me this one and turning me onto it. So instead of buying lipstick, I'm buying singing bowls. Who knew that would ever happen? Anyways, okay. So let's move on. I'm gonna use the ARC, the Animal Tarot Oracle deck by Bernadette King today. And we'll do a past, present, and future energy. I guess Spirit is directing me to talk a little bit about staying focused in the present. They're directing me to do the past, present, future energy just because that is what people are interested in being able to identify with whether this reading is for them or not. But really the bulk of the reading is going to be about how you're experiencing things now. And what your experience is now, what you're doing to manage, what you're doing to grow and develop, and how you're just taking care of yourself. So let's go ahead. I'm going to cut this in half because I actually have like the oracle mixed in with the tarot, and it's just too much to shuffle at once. Okay. So hopefully you all had a good day. It's getting late. It's almost 7:30. Today was very low-key for everyone really in my family, and I don't think everyone necessarily identifies with spiritually awakening, but I do see that that's actually happening to everyone in the house. But it's been a very, very low-key, people haven't really done a whole lot today. Tired. We are now. Hopefully you guys are doing okay too. All right. So let's see. All right. So all three of the cards are reversed, but I'm being told that it's just because I've laid the deck down the wrong way. Figures that I would lay it backwards. I kind of do things a little backwards a lot of times. So I'm not going to take them as reversed. We're just going to flip them right around. Okay. So, the first card that we have for the past is the dog, which is the three words of service, devotion, and honesty. So I don't know if you can see that. And what this tells me, what Spirit is telling me, is that maybe before this last year, you were feeling like, you know what, things were on track, and you were doing relatively well. I mean, not to say that, you know, your life was just ideal, but Spirit is directing me to say that there is some feelings of unrest in the sense that this last year has kind of really whooped up a lot of different things for you, and there's some resentment about that because you've lost some things that you worked really hard for, and you feel kind of like that it was taken it was taken from you. It wasn't something that you yourself lost. So there is some hard feelings as a result of that. That's kind of like put a damper on your spirit, and made you, not made, but influenced you to not do as much, or to not reach out as much, or to just kind of, the spirit's just talking a little bit about just feeling like it dimmed your light a bit, and you feel a bit deflated. So that's kind of adding on top of what's going on energetically in the universe. So you may feel, I'm going to use the word overwhelmed, but lately Spirit has been really conscientious with me as far as getting me to think a little bit more about the words that I use, how I define myself, how I, even if I'm feeling overwhelmed, even if I'm feeling anxious, rather than using that word and sticking with it, being able to voice that, give a word that I'm familiar with, but then understand that is that's really a mental health construct. It's really a thought that my humanness has made, and then by sticking with that thought and not doing something that's a little more flexible with it, or kind of puttying it into something else, it's manifested that way. So I guess the Spirit was wanting to talk a bit about manifesting, and how even though maybe you have lost some things over the last year, that doesn't feel like you did anything to lose. What you maybe are doing that's encouraging you to stay in this flux that you're in is you're manifesting your own experiences through the way that you think. And Spirit is just strongly encouraging you to understand that ultimately you have to be the person that buys into this idea of whether or not we can manifest, whether or not we're creators, whether or not we have that ability and power within us. I'm going to go on the lines that we do. And so if that's given, well then what I can do that serves me best, that's in my best interest, is to really be more thoughtful in how I see myself and how I see the world. Now, if I take such big constructs of who I am and what I'm experiencing, I can get a bit lost in it, especially if things aren't going as well as I would like them to. However, if I stay present in the present, and that's, I guess, why Spirit wanted me to say something about that as we were opening up, that this is more focused on what's going on right now, it can seem like you can work with that better, because it doesn't quite seem as large, or as overwhelming, in the sense that, wow, that's a big feat, that's a long road, and helping you focus more on what are you doing today that's improving your situation. Even if nothing on the outside, like maybe you're stressed because your employment is poor, or you don't have employment, and the odds are is that you're not going to find a job, or that job, or your dream job today. That doesn't mean that you can't be making steps and doing things to align with that. But did you try to find a half an hour during the day that was joyful? And what did you do? Could you try to find yourself lost in the moment of laughter, whether it was, if you have children or you live with people, doing something that's silly, or just kind of enjoying someone's company and trying really hard to stay present. There's a skill that I was encouraged to practice a lot as a therapist, and that is, instead of, we kind of naturally just do it, where like someone's talking and we start to think like, okay, well, what am I going to say back, or how am I interpreting that myself? Like, what's my mindset? How am I making connections with it? And that's just how we humanly think. But being mindful and being present is about just allowing the words to come in, trusting that your mind will make sense of what they are. And then as soon as that is done, or that person is finished speaking, then you'll be able to have that information in and be able to respond accordingly. So it's a huge mindfulness skill where it just basically gets you you're just present. You're present in that moment with that conversation with that person, and you're not thinking about all the different other elements that are going on around you. So Spirit is just saying, with the dog, the dogs are considered loyal. They're considered really good friends because they're there for you. So how are you being there for you? And you might surprisingly find out that being there for you, you are actually being present for someone else. Going along the lines of what I was talking about on my earlier video, most of us feel good when we're of service to someone else, whether that's someone that we're close to, that we care about, or our community, or a much larger global issue. But we have a tendency to feel better about ourselves when we feel that we were helpful and useful. So that is caring for ourselves. But that is kind of where some of the stuff has come up that's jumbling around in you today. And Spirit's just saying, being mindful about how you're talking to yourself, what you're saying to yourself about that situation and about what you need to do or can do. And stay present and focused in today. And what are you doing for your greatest good today? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you motivating yourself to do certain things like scheduling, setting up some type of regimen of what you do? But then are you finding times just for you? Whether that's a morning meditation, whether that's a walk, whether that's a workout, whether that's cooking a nice meal, whatever that ends up being. And then making sure that, towards the end of the night, that you're able to kind of collect your thoughts and see if you met the goals or the things that you had set out to do for the day, and then reward yourself in some way, and whatever that is. But it's really about embracing what most people would consider the little things, and understanding that by doing that, you create the bigger things. If you focus too much on the bigger things on the outside, you tend to miss all the details. And if you miss the details, you're not crossing your T's and dotting your I's, and you're missing a lot of opportunities, as well as you're getting way too far ahead of yourself. And that's not to say don't ever dream big or focus on bigger plans. But it's just, I guess Spirit is really, whoever this is connecting with, is just really encouraging you to slow down, stay more present in the moment, and try to find joy in the moment. Because it makes sense that currently the card that's in the present is the Ten of Wands. And the three words that go with it is, ambition is a good servant, but a bad master. So think about, the wands are like burdens, you have the good thing is that it's a 10, so it's like the next thing is a 1. So you're right there on the brink of making that change, of closing out that cycle, of opening yourself up to something new, and something that will enrich you, or that brings you joy, or that you can take a breath. I mean, when you're at a 10 of Wands, I mean, that's pretty overwhelming. So that makes even more sense of why Spirit is talking about staying in the present, and trying to find things that are nurturing and helpful, and moments that you can just kind of get lost. Because that's not to say, if you got a lot of things going on in your life, this idea of just saying, well, don't worry about all that, it will work itself out. Well, guess what? You know what? If you don't have heat, or you don't have a roof over your head, or your phone's going to cut out tomorrow, it's just not that easy. I mean, there are things that you have to attend to, and there are things that you're going to be stressed out with if your relationship is breaking up, or a family member is struggling or suffering greatly. I mean, you can't just block it out of your head. But Spirit is saying, but what you can do is not obsess on it, and not just focus solely on that. Is that for you to be of service, for you to be of help, you have to nurture and comfort in bring joy to yourself, in the same lines of, you know, being up in an airplane and putting the mask on you before you put it on anyone else. If you can't take care of yourself and get yourself into a place of somewhat rest, peace, oh, and hopefully you're not burning down the house, but anyways, then you can do other things in a much more constructive manner than if you're riled. It's harder to get yourself centered and focused to be able to do the work that's necessary. And if you're running at, no one likes flies, going crazy all over the place, you're not going to have direction, or it's going to be more difficult for you to find direction or to keep your chin up. You know, sometimes just a reminder of keep your chin up. You're going to get through it. You're not going to get lost in it. There's no quicksand. The only quicksand is up here. You know, and just riding through it. And sometimes, you know, getting through it with some pain is what was necessary to open you up or to teach you something different. I mean, I guess that's one of the major things that I've really learned in this last year. And it's not to say that I didn't ever consider it or think about it. I mean, you know, therapy is really very much focused around how we rise from our pain. But I guess in a more spiritual aspect of understanding that my soul actually signed up for this pain. You would have told me that a couple of years ago. I said, hell no, I didn't sign up for this crap. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's like I can see the beauty that's come from it. I don't want to go back there, but yeah, my dog is barking. I'm sure somebody's walking. He's trying to say he don't want me to go back there either. Nobody wants me to go back there. And this, I'm not laughing at your pain. You know what? Honestly, I've had to learn to laugh at myself, because there have been some times that I just felt like, you know, I was never gonna get through it. And I'm sure that the people in the house, that was my daughter just peeking her head through. They probably felt that I wasn't going to get through it either. But I did. And I came out stronger. And you can get through this, and you can come out stronger. You can get all these flies away from you. Well, it's winter right now here, so maybe there's not a whole lot of flies. But you get what I'm saying. You know, it's time to put down the wands. Give yourself a break. Catch your breath. Try to sleep. That's the other thing. You know what? When you're really stressed out, sleeping doesn't, or, you know, some people actually do the opposite. That's all they do is sleep. So, I mean, I really understand what it's like to feel like, oh my gosh, please, just a moment. But understand that you're the person that gives you the moment. Angels are always here to help us. You know, Spirit is very clear with me right now in that, wanting you to understand that they're always surrounding, they're always comforting. You know, they're the first to cry, to drop a tear when we're struggling. This is difficult for them to watch us struggle, and to know that there are certain laws of the universe that prevent them from intervening. But at the same time of them wanting us to understand that they're always present with us, that we're never alone, that it's us. It's the I that does something to pull me from this wreckage, to pull me through this wreckage. I'm getting the song from, I don't know, he was like on, maybe it will come to me. Pull me out from the wreck. I don't know. I'm not a singer, so I'm not going to try to sing. But you're your own savior. You're your own savior. That's what Spirit is really wanting you to, they're really wanting you to embrace that. But you have to identify with that. And I know that can be really hard, especially if, you know what, much of your life relied on other people. Take out the you know, whether that's good or bad. But if often people have intervened, it's even more difficult to figure out how to do that for yourself. So if that reaches you, know that it is possible. It's actually more than possible, and you might surprise yourself. And the power that comes from being able to kind of pull yourself from the wreckage is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. So the future card is the Rabbit. And the Rabbit is the Seven of Pentacles. And that's perfect with what we've been talking about, how it aligns. Reaping what you sow. Consistency and perspective. So it's the Seven of Pentacles. And you have options. There are things on the horizon. It's all in the matter of what you create. And that you don't give up. And that you keep going. You keep pushing forward. And I think my dog needs to go outside. But that understanding that, you know what? You are your own creator. You're your creator. Nothing is impossible. Now, maybe it's impossible for you to get $1 million here at, 9 o'clock at night. That's not something that's going to happen. However, you're your own creator. What you want, you have to make. But you have to buy into that. You have to buy into that to make that happen. This whole Spirit is talking about manifestation. That's a big word that's out there with a lot of different people. But I think it gets largely misinterpreted. Manifestation is the belief that I'm the creator, that I can make that happen. But B, that it just doesn't happen. It's not like the singing bowl or the wand from Harry Potter. It's not like I just poof it into existence in this moment. It's something that I work towards. It's something that the energy that I put out. And then the universe returns it in divine timing when it makes sense for us. But we have to trust that. Like currently, right now, I was kind of relying or depending upon something to happen that didn't happen. And even 6 months ago, if I would have found that news out, that would have been like really upsetting to me, and I would have continued with it throughout the day, throughout the week, and ruined my whole week. I would have done that. However, in what Spirit has helped me gain confidence and understanding in is that, then that just wasn't meant for me. And yeah, it's still stressful that there are some things that aren't going to be taken care of in the manner that I had hoped for. But I have great faith that, I will figure this stuff out. That's my birthright. That's your birthright. Your birthright is not to just suffer in vain. Your birthright is to be, plentiful, bountiful, beautiful, joyful, filled with love, filled with success. You're your own creator. All right. So let's close with, how about the secret language of light? I love this because it gives you such an insight into what, like, your aura or your you think about spirit. Spirit is, to me, how I understand it, is really light. So it's the different color means different things, whether you align it with angelic light, whether you align it with chakra light, whether you align it with stones, whether you align it with just kind of like advertisement in the world. Color is profoundly used in ways that we just take for granted, we don't even think about. But that's our biggest language is color. It's light. So I really like this because it gives you an opportunity to look at the card, and everyone can draw different things from it, as well as what certain colors mean to you that you don't even have to sit and think about. I noticed that even when I watch some of these videos, as people are talking, the background or the coloring in the video changes. It changes from more of like a yellow light to a blue light to a gold light to a pink light. And that's really about an aura. And so if you pick up on that stuff, that's you picking up on aura. And Google it. Google what that color means, whether it means something from like a solar plexus, whether it means something, from your crown, that you're getting in information from the higher realms, whether that means, something of romantic love, or, you can use things that assign color that are more spiritually, just energetically connected to us, and then as well as use how you define it too. Because again, one of the nice things that I spent the last year doing is learning the language of numerology, and by doing so, not only did I learn what was gifted to people to be able to put out, to give us a book upon what certain numbers and how they go together and what they mean, but also what do they call that? I created my own dialect, or my own slang. So I have like what numbers mean to me. And when I was listening, what's his name? You know what? It's one of the things that I kind of like upset about Spirit from taking me is like my memory bank. So like I have all this information, but then I don't have any names or facts or dates to put with it. So it's sometimes like, trying to give somebody an example is really hard. But I was watching this program today, and I think his name was Sandu Guru. But he was talking about manifestation and just what we're looking for as human beings, our human experience. And it's just about the joyfulness and the balance of the four spheres of our mind, body, emotional body, and spirit. And he was just kind of outlining some things, and it kind of brought into the numbers that we place on tarot cards and my own personal numbers. And I was actually really able to kind of make this diagram that was even much more meaningful personally to me. So it's nice how, you know what, if there's just so many meanings. There's just so many meanings to light, to the language of light. All right, so I want to get to this because it's now 32 minutes and I already said I was going to go 30. So, well, I guess we got our card pick. Here we go. 10, which, you know what? Sometimes when Spirit does this stuff, it kind of still shocks me because I'm just like, how did this happen? But, timelines, and they just kind of sneak in there. But keeping with this idea of the present, and that's what Spirit wanted us to do, is stay present with where we're at versus looking too much at the past and too much at the future. And what was our present card was our 10 of Wands. And so the card that Spirit provided for us when it came to the secret language of light is the number 10. It's called Soulcraft. So I'm going to put it up. It's a beautiful card. I love these cards. It just kind of looks like, to me, like, I really love like castles, princess movies. And I remember like watching the cartoons back in the day, or even like a lot of the princess movies today, when they looked over the railing inside a castle, they have like this stairwell that goes down and around and around. And that's what this kind of looks like. It's going all the way inside this chamber. And this is, again, you get to identify with this picture as you would like, and what it means to you. But to me, it's about that golden light that's within us. And golden light, to me, is Metatron. And he's the vertical archangel. And just providing you with strength. Strength to stick with what's going on and understand that he's here. He's here with you, to support you. And that even though maybe it might feel like emotionally you're at your wit's ends, there's like an amber, a burningness to maybe what you're feeling right now. But there is this beautiful, brilliant light in the center. It's about getting through the uncomfortable layers of the onion and getting to the core. But also recognizing that, staying present with it is the layers of the onion are what we like to taste. That's what we cook with. So there is a deliciousness within it that maybe you can't see because your eyes are watering as you're trying to cut. But it's just, I guess, asking us to stay present. Our souls are asking us to stay present with what's happening. Experience what's happening. Don't be frightened by what's happening. Don't deter what's happening. And understand and know and rely and have confidence that there's a beautiful light at that end of that tunnel. And maybe, you know what? That tunnel's not even that long. It's not as long as you think it is. And the struggle to get through it is not as bad as you think it's going to be. We create fear that paints the picture of what we anticipate. And often that picture is a fairy tale. It's not real. It's not what we will endure, we will experience. So let's quickly read what number 10, the soul craft, means. Oh, I had 35 in there, a light being. So what they're telling me right now is that the Galactic Council has also been involved in the conversation that we're having, and just helping us understand that they're here to support us as well, and that they really have the highest good for us, but that the Mother Gaia is not alone. All right, and neither are we. So number 10. It says, life happens from you, not to you. How ironic, we're talking about that. Okay, so that aligns with what we've been talking about. The thoughts, ideas, and topics you increasingly discuss are creating your life. So you're creating your reality by how you think. Again, stay focused on the words that you're saying. Forget about what you're saying to other people for a second. But when you're quiet, when you're with yourself, how do you talk to yourself? What do you say? You might be surprised that you don't recognize just how much you are talking to yourself. And that internal conversation is not usually the most useful. I mean, that is something that I have really learned in this last year. It's like, whoa, I have so much conversation going on that I completely bypass, that just gets stored in my DNA. And no wonder that I created such a life of disarray, for a while. But this card is encouraging you to focus on the ones that make your heart smile. You are ready to receive answers from your soul about any topic. Thoughts or ideas that you want to change. Listen to yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that you have the knowledge that you need to be able to make the choices and the change that you want. Be wise in your crafting, and the path of least resistance will call you. If you trust yourself, you will find an opening. Don't think that there's no opening. There's always an opening. Nothing keeps you trapped forever. There's no such thing. Different soul vibrations will inspire different actions. So the higher you get your vibration, the higher response of a path you're going to create, that you're going to find. You are your own creator. If you're feeling tired or inspired action, your inspired action will be to rest or sleep. So then do it. Rest and sleep if you can. I mean, I realize this and I gotta go to work. If you're feeling love, you will be inspired to do things that emulate love on a day-to-day basis. You know what? Even if you lost someone, whether you lost someone in the physical or you lost someone relationally, there are other ways that you can express love while you're healing. That's not just one dimension of love. Love is all that exists, to be honest. All this is just merely what we've created from our human experience, our 3D experience. So you can always create love with anything in front of you. We all sense with our souls, but then override with our rational mind. This is where we think, right here. This is where we work to connect. This is where meditation, mindfulness, silence, quiet moments bring us to, right here. We may feel like this is the mind's eye, but this is really where the mind's eye is at. This is what will direct us. This is when you think about ascension, when you think about the earth moving to the 5D, this is how you're going to get here. Get there, right here, right here. not anything back here. Can be helpful, but it can be actually hurtful too. But this is what's going to get you there. So find ways that you can express and open your heart chakra up. Trust your soul is bringing you the most up-to-date information as possible. Our souls are always here to help us. They're never here to hurt us. So again, going back to one thing that's been really useful for me to remember, because my ego does get in the way. And so if I'm experiencing something that's uncomfortable, and the immediate response that I hear inside of my head, or what I feel or think is inside my heart, is something that creates distress because it's quick-tempered or the words are kind of harsh or hard, remember that's not coming from our soul. Our soul is always nurturing, even if the response is something that is not really what we want. The soul is always going to give us encouragement that is for our highest good. It's not intended to get us more distressed. And so understand, or I would encourage you to start working on isolating those two, because I know that I was shocked to find out just how much my ego was talking to me. And it wasn't, my soul. It wasn't the spirit guides. It wasn't the universe. It wasn't my intuition. It was my ego. And that's not to say that, my ego is this horrible thing. Yeah, you know what? It's gotten me into a lot of trouble. But truthfully, the ego's intent is to keep us safe. It's just kind of like it's been fed with the wrong hand maybe for a long time. So, all right. I hope that everyone has a great night. I hope you sleep well. I hope you take care of yourself during the upcoming days. And just try to, if you can, remind yourself that you're your own creator. Trust yourself. But B, try to find time where things are quiet, that you can find joy, even if your world feels like it's falling apart. Use words that are helpful and hopeful and motivating. And understand, believe that nothing is permanent. Nothing. We can change anything. It just may take a little time. All right. Love and light. Take care of y'all. Bye.